Hello YouTube Nation, this is Ron with RTR Gearheads. Just a little intro to this video that's about to come up here. Junior's in the garage and he is giving short updates on the two projects he's been focusing on. One, which you guys are familiar with, is the Olds S-10, Olds powered S-10. It's got the 350 rocket in it. You've seen him and Tommy doing body work on the bed. He's also had a video of the exhaust when he did the exhaust on it. He's going to go through that, and he's also going to be covering some info on a Civic, which I've mentioned in the past. He's mentioned a couple times also. I don't think it's been out of the spot it's in for about 1.5 years in the garage. We tucked it back in the corner, covered it up, and had some projects to get through before we started messing with that and getting to work on that. He'll get into a nice the script summary on what's going on with that also. He also goes through with, he'll be going through with the Trans Am, but tomorrow evening, possibly, Sunday evening, we'll probably have an update coming up on that. We've been on work on that, but it's been little things here and there, so we really haven't filmed it. So what we'll do is get a summary of all the stuff we've done to it since you guys last were updated on it. Because we did at the front end. My friend Jamie's been coming over and helping me with the front end on that, getting everything lined up. The left fender's lined up, the hood lined up real nice. We still got to tighten up the right fender and get that inner fender well in also. But again, here comes Junior. He's going to go ahead and give you guys some updates, and I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, Ronnie, RTR Gearheads and Auto Inc. here, just kind of filming a short update for you guys, kind of shorter than normal. Just kind of been a little bit since we uploaded a video. We might have to space out videos here for a little bit, as far as uploading, and instead of uploading every day, you know, trying to get some quality stuff and then bringing it out. So Dad just asked me to film a quick little update for you guys, mainly on the S-10 and the Civic. The Trans Am, we already did a bunch of work to it. Unfortunately, we didn't film all that work because we were just trying to get it done. A lot of clearance things that we're just trying to solve. We did put the car LS1 intake manifold on it. That way we didn't have any concerns about the manifold hitting the hood. Same with the throttle body. Being able to clear everything because the electronic part was pretty much on the hood when it was all the way shut. Also, so we can relocate the alternator, he did put the Camaro water pump, did the ICT idler relocation just to move everything, figured out a belt for it. So we've made a decent bit of progress on that one. The last thing we were waiting on, which I think actually delivered today for him, he just hasn't made his way over here yet, is the fuel injector adapters, because we use the car injectors that came with the LS1 manifold and rails instead of having to get spacers and just add another area of connection between the injectors and everything. The truck manifold, they're taller, so you have to use spacers. If you want to use vice versa, I believe, because I know you have to use spacers if you want to use car injectors on the truck manifold, but vice versa, it's the opposite way around. You do have to use spacers for that as well, and also possibly different rails. We wanted to make it as simple as possible, so we're using the LS1 intake manifold, the fuel rails, and the fuel injectors. They're just a different style plugs. So we ordered one set, they were the wrong style, so he, like I said, he just ordered another set, and I think they delivered to him today. So when he can get back over here, we're going to get those on there, so that car is back to life. Only other things we need to do at that point, and we've already got the fuel line hooked up. I believe he wants to relocate the battery to the passenger side to make some more room for the ECU clearance without everything being all tucked into the driver's side fender. So that'll make it look really nice. Everything will be nice and organized, the fuse block, the ECU itself. We're still going to clean up the wiring more at that point, but that way when it's all in there. As far as the S-10 goes, it's still sitting here in primer. You saw those videos of that repair, or that Tom and I did. You saw those. So it's still sitting in primer. We're waiting to hear back from someone that he has as far as a painter to actually lay paint, because it was brought up as an opportunity, depending on the price, that he may want to sand down the front as well to actually just give it a refresh. Cab, bed, we may also just paint the bed through him, we don't know yet. Before we make any more moves on that, realistically all that's left as far as the paint on the bed is sanding down the tailgate, doing the bed liner on the inside, and then spraying the white. So either way, it's going to be painted soon, whether it's the whole truck gets a refresh and clear. That way it's all painted at the same time and cleared at the same time by someone who does it a lot more frequently than I do. Or if we're going to paint the bed the same way we painted the front, I think 7 or 8 years ago now, with the same color, because it's still available. So we might just paint it the exact same way. And I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's not a show truck. Granted, it is very clean. I believe you guys have seen my video when I recorded underneath of it when I did the mock-up exhaust, which that still needs fully welded. I've got to move it up a little bit because I do want the exhaust to sit at least the same height as the frame. I don't want it to be lower than the frame, but I didn't have a pipe bender or anything like that, so that exhaust is literally pick and pull pieces from every parts store near me at the time to actually form the exhaust. And if you look back on that video, it didn't come out too bad. It's actually really nicely routed. Everywhere it goes is nice. The hangers worked out. But we've just got ugly clamps sitting there. We've got, you know, a little bit of tiny leaks because the clamps don't seal it fully. I do want to take that back off, move up the intermediate section to where it's higher than the frame. That way if we do happen to hit a ridiculous bump or something, the exhaust is not the first thing that gets hit, because it will probably just pull it right off at that point. Engine bay, not much to go on there. It's still clean. I believe that's also in a previous video. We're not doing much more there. This truck is pretty much finished the paint, interior, and a little bit of wiring things. That's it. That's all that's left other than the exhaust. There's a couple wiring things with lights that I want to get figured out. Somewhere along the lines, I think either a wire got pinched or I just don't have a good enough ground for the taillights. They act a little funky when they're actually hooked up. So got to figure that out. But other than that, it's interior, dash swap, put panels in. I'm going to do Dynamat, make a center console, which I have a cool plan for that. As far as how the center console is going to turn out, I know I'm going to be using partially a newer style S-10 center console for at least part of it, but then it's gonna cut and then turn into something completely custom going up to the dash, with a lot of cool plans for that. So I'm hoping to do a video on that as well. I do have to take these doors back apart. There's a window guide, glass guide that wasn't put back in before we did the weather stripping, because it kind of just slipped our mind, to where now the windows go like this when they go down. If you hold them up the way they are now and just leave them there, they're fine. But the second you go to roll them up or roll them down, they start to tilt because the back guide isn't there. Again, this was 7-8 years ago when we put these doors on. Granted, we just did the weather stripping, I'd like to say roughly about a year ago. It was just so back far in our memory since the last time we took the doors apart, we didn't even think that those weren't there. But easy enough job. That's basically it for the S-10. The only other update I have is the Civic. It's been a while since we've heard anything about that. Granted, it's not completely on par with what is mostly on the channel between the Apache, between the Trans Am, between the Octarango, between the S-10. It's an import, it's a tuner. I've had that car for, I believe, 5 or 6 years now, possibly 7. I can't remember what age I was when I got it. I know it was over 18, but I don't remember exactly when. But yeah, that one's been off the road for a little over a year now, about 1.5 years, from some dumb decisions that a couple years later, motor-wise, finally started to show what I caused. But I still want to completely check out the block. As far as I can tell, Nothing's cracked inside of the block. I just think it was a very warped head situation. If you guys don't remember, that car is a B series swap, not the standard D series. It's out of a CRV. That motor was in it when I got it. Once I got wrecked into in that car years back, saw the perfect opportunity, decided to throw boost to it. Again, young kid, I didn't build for power. I just threw the turbo on and tuned it down for safety, to where it wouldn't hit certain boost levels, it wouldn't hit certain RPMs. Basically, just give it enough of a boost to be fun, but nothing insane, which it turned out quite the opposite way anyway. But there's a B series swap with a 57 trim turbo. It was only running on 8 pounds. Unfortunately, with the way the wastegate was, granted it's a tile wastegate with the correct spring, and I even had a vacuum boost actuator on there. It still liked to creep anywhere past 3,500 RPMs. It wanted to creep into 10 pounds, which that wasn't really the problem. It ran that way perfectly fine for 3 years. It's been the multiple H days that way. It was multiple test and tune days that way. Very, very long drives. Ocean City, back when, you know, car shows down there were actually feasible. Never really had a problem. Just once I got a daily car, I kind of started to beat that one a lot, more than I should have. I just think the head warped very, very bad. And there's definitely evidence of that, which I would show you up and close, but the old head is wrapped up in a box, in a bag, inside of another bag, already taken off. I don't even think I recorded a video of that. I think I just randomly one day got home from work when I was working somewhere else and just said, hey, I'm gonna pull the head off, it's easy enough. So I did, but then ironically, I found a guy on Facebook that actually races the same type of cars. He was actually a guy that went through a couple motors in one weekend just because at a drag strip, at a drag event. He had collected a bunch of these B series heads, mostly B18 heads, which any of you Honda guys out there know, which I don't know how many of those there are on this channel. You've got a couple different B series. You've got B18, you got B20, you've got ones that have VTEC, their variable timing control. You know, the thing that all the memes are about. I don't run VTEC. I don't want to, especially with the boost. I don't feel like tuning in the multiple stages of that. But basically a B20 is just a B18 that was bored out to be a 2.0 instead of a 1.8 liter, which helped in what they came in, which was CRVs, for low-end torque, being a all-wheel drive vehicle at that time. But when you go to throw power to it, it's weaker. They didn't reinforce the walls in the block. They didn't reinforce anything. They literally just bored it out, threw bigger pistons in a different head gasket, and there they went. The heads had slightly different timing and valve lashes as well as the cam lobes were different, for lower opening, basically to keep that low-end torque but not be too crazy up high. So back to the topic. The head I got, long story short, was a B18 head, non-VTEC, which is exactly what I wanted because it has a higher top end, but it also just, it performs a little bit better. Now granted, that doesn't change anything with the block. I'm still not sleeving the block. I'm still not putting a protector, nothing. I'm not doing any of that. The block's been fine. If it blows, it blows. But I'm also, now that I'm older and smarter and it's a fun car, I'm gonna take every tuning and boost setup precaution I can. But that is not the power plant I intend to stay with in that car. That car is either going to get a fully built motor at some point that does not involve that block, or it is going to get a starting to become more popular swap that back when I was looking into it was not popular whatsoever. But it's going to get a different motor altogether. Now, whether that's a built B series or a J series, which is the one I'm planning, it's going to happen either way. So right now the main goal is just get a decent head on there. Still going to take it to a machine shop, get it checked, get it tested, make sure it's all good. Any work that needs done to it to make it seal, it's going to get done. I am going to use head studs instead of stock head bolts this time because that was the main problem. I never even put head studs in it the first time around. So that should help with the main cause of our problems that I had. But it's just to get it running again. It's going to be on a low boost tune, just like it was before. Anything that had to come off for the head to come off is going to get replaced. I just recently did a water pump and timing belt on it within not even 10,000 miles of the motor finally, the head finally saying goodbye to life. So there's no need to replace those. I will end up flushing out the hoses, possibly replacing all of those just in case, to make sure we're getting efficient cooling to everything instead of whatever gunk has been sitting in there for a year and a half from attempting to band-aid it for a little bit. But yeah, the main goal is to just get it driving and moving around to where it can go to some local shows. It can be driven on a nice day. But that's about it. Other than that, I mean, that car has been pretty sound. The suspension was all dialed in back when I was driving before this channel existed. Same with the paint. Custom paint job you've seen on the channel a couple times. When it is moving again, I fully promise to wash it and detail it and actually show that paint job, because it's definitely a paint job I'm proud of. The back half of the paint for the doors back is from when it was a show car for a shop that doesn't even exist anymore, back up in way northern Pennsylvania or something. The front half was repainted when the accident happened, when I was hit, which I have some photos of that. I could possibly see if Dad wants to put them in a Civic only video, not just an update video, just kind of to update everyone on the channel of the history of that car. It was completely wrecked at one point a couple years ago with me. It was hit by a bus on the front end at a T intersection. I made a mistake in going when I thought this bus was turning. They were, in fact, not turning, and they plowed straight through the front end of it. Bent frame rails. One frame rail was touching the tire. The other frame rail was touching the block. The casing for the transmission was torn. It was a bad time. Like I said, I have photos of whenever I do a Civic only video, possibly when it already is running or before then, throughout the process of putting a head bag on it. I'll be sure to send him those photos as well, even though I'm sure he has some, but I know I have more of them, of just kind of, hey, this is how bad the accident was. You never believe it by looking at it now. That was a very long process. Donor car, redoing frame rails, strut tower rebuilding. It was definitely a learning experience for the age I was. I believe I might have been 19 or 20 years old. Never had really done much body work at that point at all, really. So it was definitely a learning experience. But yeah, so that's the update on that. I'll be sure to get a full video on that car either way, because even though most of the subscribers on this channel probably aren't into the imports, I'm hoping future subscribers are. We're still trying to figure out what we want to do about subscribers, about what content to put out, when to put it out. We're still trying to figure it out. Which, I mean, it was pretty good with how we were going, you know, uploading a video every day or two, but with everything going on with Dad right now, as far as just life aspects, nothing health-wise, nothing crazy like that, just different other life, private aspects. It was getting a little too much to record all the content, edit for him, well, him editing, and then, you know, posting the videos, making sure we get the right quality, because some of the videos like this one I'm taking right now, I send them to him. We've got to make sure it came across as the same quality so it doesn't look terrible on YouTube like we recorded in 2002. But yeah, so I mean, as far as updates, that's as far as it goes. Trans Am should be running again, maybe even possibly tomorrow. The only reason it wasn't running is because we didn't have fuel injector hookups. But the intake went great. I would pull the cover off and top the hood and everything, but like I said, this is just a quick update video, not an in-depth one. S-10, it's down to body work, weld and exhaust, well, paint work, weld and exhaust, and then at that point it's interior. Which the interior I've been saving for last as far as doing it, because in reality it's the smallest aspect. It is a little costly for some of the things I want to do. Not terrible though. But then we should have some other stuff coming. We're hoping to get the long bed in, which again hasn't been on the channel just because it's not physically in our possession right now. We have it parked elsewhere at the moment. But still need to figure out the plan with what to do with that. Obviously we're going to swap it. It will probably be up for sale once we're done with it. So look out for that for sure. But that's mainly the plan with that. Other than that, I mean, the bikes, not too much on, literally no plans for those right now. As far as our channel is concerned, there's no plans for those. Civic, get the head checked out, order the parts to put it back on, put it back together, and hopefully make it move for the first time in, I'm pretty sure it's a year and a half at this point that it hasn't moved since it's been tucked away in that corner. And yeah, other than that, I mean, we will continue to film stuff just in case for when we do go to upload them. Like I said, they will be a little bit spaced out for a little bit, just to kind of get a grasp on everything else going on in both of our lives, also to make schedules meet up, and also just to kind of alleviate it a little bit. We still are on the run to try and get, you know, as many subscribers as we can, but honestly get them. We're not going to beg for it. We're not going to, you know, try and bribe you with anything for it. We're not going to, you know, do a giveaway for it. We genuinely just want you guys to subscribe because you like the content we're putting out and you want to like future content that hopefully you help us get the ideas for to put out. We really want to do that on this channel. We want to listen to what you guys are commenting, what you guys are saying, and as long as it's within reasonable means or in the plan, put out videos that you guys genuinely want to see. And make sure that, you know, the subscribers we're getting are a loyal group of subscribers, but we do want numbers for that. Right now, I believe we're slightly under 200 subscribers, which still, that is good for kind of just a home run channel that started out with one of us not even in the country and another one working completely full-time, 50, almost 60 hours a week. So for what we've done so far, that's awesome. Thank you for subscribing, for the people who have subscribed already. If you have just found us though, please subscribe, like the videos, you know, not so much as a motivational thing, but to kind of give us a reason to keep putting these out as frequently as we were. That would just definitely be what would help us the most, especially with just getting the content out. The motivation, not entirely, but somewhat the motivation, because it is a lot of time for him to record these videos and edit them and get them put out. We never used to be the type to, you know, think about what we were doing. We were working on stuff all throughout me growing up and all throughout him. We would just attack a car and go. We've had to change that work just to make sure we can film everything. So we've changed it up to like, hey, let's make sure we film this, or hey, let's do a video on this car or this truck, or let's explain this process we're doing instead of just doing what we normally do. So we're trying to change to make sure we, you know, entertain you guys, entertain, teach, bide your bathroom break at work, because let's be honest, half of us watch these types of videos in the bathroom at work to just pass the time and hope nobody comes looking for us, or just genuine entertainment. That's our main goal. We want to entertain, we want to teach, we want to also experience things for our own that you guys can see in the videos as well and experience them with us. So that's about it for this update. Sorry, I am definitely a rambler. If you guys haven't noticed from my previous videos, Dad's more straight to the point. I definitely ramble on for sure, but that's because I'm trying to get a little personable with all these videos. You never guess it, from real life I'm not too social, but in these videos I definitely try to be personable, and it ends up with me rambling, so sorry. But yeah, that's it for the update. Like I said, like, subscribe, share the videos if it's any type of content someone you know is interested in. If you already are a subscriber and like our videos, please tell other people that might have the same interest about them. We want to try and just get this going extensively, especially with show season coming up and the warm months, and you know, we're about to have 3 seasons of where we can just straight blast work, car shows, content, everything like that. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you stay for the full thing, and until next time, see you.
All right, YouTube Nation, there we go. Junior summed up a lot of stuff that's going on in the garage. Like he mentioned, I did get the injector harness, the adapter today. I'll get more into detail with that on the Trans Am video. We'll just say it's nice to try to save a penny, but don't be cheap. I was in a hurry to get these adapters, which I'll go over in the video for the Trans Am. And oh well, this is a lot less than the other ones I could get from a reputable company that I've already gotten parts from. But just trying to save a penny to hopefully roll it over to another one of the projects. Ended up biting me in the rear in the end. So I still ended up having to go and get them from the reputable company that I should have bought them from in the first place. But we'll have an update on that. Hopefully you guys like Junior's updates. We will actually be having that CBR come up shortly. Should be in the next 2 weeks. We might have a video of that, of us going down a journey to pick it up. and the original, or the first reveal on film, on video, and our plans to go forward with that. So again, this was Ron with RTR Gearheads. Should be getting an update on the Apache soon also, and Junior updated on his, and you'll get the Trans Am, like I said, either tomorrow evening, maybe Sunday evening, pushing it. Again, thanks for watching. The subscribers, we're up to 175, as you saw in the video. If you like it, subscribe. We try to keep the content interesting for you guys, and we're always asking your opinion on what you think some possible future content could be. Like Junior said, as long as it's feasible and within the realm. We're on a shoestring budget, so try to make things happen. Again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and hit that subscribe if you haven't. Hit subscribe, like button, notifications, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks for watching.